When I was in university, my teacher taught us a 13-step way of how to create a recruitment process in a company. And the truth is that it's kind of a long process, right? And in businesses, it's kind of hard to stay and follow a 13-step process to create a recruitment process. You have to create one from the scratch. So in your company at the moment, there are no recruitment processes for a specific job. Watch this video because I'm going to break it down for you. And I will also summarize everything so you can have it all in a 10 to 15 minute video. Hi, my name is Cornelia. I work as a recruiter and I've been working as one for the last 5 years. In today's video, I wanted to talk about how you can create a recruitment process from scratch in case you don't have already a recruitment process for that specific role. Because in a company, you most likely have to recruit for different positions and the recruitment process for them are sometimes similar, but sometimes they are completely different. So let's start with this first thing, and this is the discussion with the hiring manager. Ideally, you need to have multiple discussions or initial discussions with different people in the company, which are the future colleagues of the person that will have to fill that role, the technical interviewers, the hiring manager, account manager, maybe some representatives from the client side, but mainly the hiring manager is the one that kind of knows all of the answers that you might need. So you need to schedule an initial discussion with them. First of all, you need to identify them and then schedule a discussion with them and ask a lot of questions about the positions. And all of these questions are related to what will be the role title of the person that will come in the company? What are the soft and hard skills that they need to have? Who will be the interviewers? How many interview stages do they believe it should be a good fit for recruiting for that specific role? Do we already have a job description for the role? If not, we kind of need to create one. Then what will be the project that they will be working on? What will be the client? What will be the team? What will be the time that they'll expect from the recruiter to find the person for that specific role? Are they expecting for them to find in 1 month, 3 months? Also, what will be the budget for the role? So the salary that we can pay. If the role will be remote, hybrid, if there will be hybrid, how many days in the office? If the type of contract will be a permanent role, it will be business to business contract. All of these questions, you need to prepare them, of course, before the meeting and ask the hiring manager in the meeting everything so you can understand and have all of the necessary details to select the best candidates, of course, assess them after that in the interview and send to the hiring manager people that are suitable for that specific role. The next step is to create a job description if you don't really have one. You cannot start recruiting if you don't have a job description. That is a very important document that states a lot of information about the role. First of all, what will be the responsibilities, what are the requirements, so what will be the package that the candidate should bring, and also what will be the benefits that we can offer, what is the type of position, is it hybrid, is it on-site, is it full-time, is it part-time. So you need to find out all of these informations and summarize them in a job description. I already made a video about how you can create a job description, so make sure to watch that. But basically you have to create 3 sections, and they are the most important ones, which are the company description, the requirement section, and also the responsibilities that the person might have. You can also add other details like benefits or other administrative details about the position, where the position will be located, in which city, if there will be remote, hybrid, etc., etc. But this will be mainly the most important ones. Please watch that video if you want more information about how you can create a job description, because I'll talk about it in detail. The next step is to create the interview stages. This is something that you usually are doing in the first discussion that you have with the hiring manager, because you need to figure it out what is their idea in recruiting a specific person. For example, they might tell you that they would like a 7-step process, or they might tell you that they would like for the person to come and work for a few days in the office without being paid. In these cases, you need to act as a specialist in recruitment. The hiring manager is a specialist in their field. You are a specialist in recruitment, and you need to guide them through this process or through creating this process. You have to explain them that sometimes a 7-step recruitment process is not a good idea, or you have to let them know that if you ask a person to work for 8 days at the office, this is unpaid work and it's illegal. So you need to bring your expertise in creating all of these stages. And usually I would say around 3 to 4 stages are enough. Depending on the seniority of the role or on the importance on the role, you might have more stages or less stages. And usually the first stage is the HR interview, because the HR recruiters are the one that are the first selection filter, I would say. You have to prepare for it and have the first interview with the candidates and select them for future stages. The next interviews usually are with the technical interviewers or the interviewers that work in that specific domain, even if they are procurement specialists or logistics specialists, IT specialists, and so on. These interviews might differ. They might have a technical technical round or just a technical interview, a coding challenge, a case study. And there are some interviewers that would prefer to have initially an interview to see if they like the person, and after that have the technical stage where they test their actual skills. And after we assessed everything, the hard skills and the soft skills, we have to schedule the candidate to have the final interview with the management team or with the hiring manager. Usually this should be the last interview. So you need to create all of these stages, describe them, see who will be the person that will be involved, how many minutes or hours will be allocated for each interview, and what will be the order of the interviews. And everyone should be on board with it. So the interviewers should know, the hiring manager should know, and also the candidate should know, because you might have to let them know in the first interview what will be the next stages. The next step is to build the pipeline of candidates. There are multiple ways where you can find candidates, but the main three ones I would say is sourcing, active sourcing. So the recruiter is going on different websites like LinkedIn, Indeed, and look for different candidates, and after that message them. Second one is the job posting. So you post a job on a job board, on LinkedIn for example, people apply to it, and after that you select those specific candidates that you believe that might be a good fit. The third one I would say is the referral policy that you have in your company. This is basically when you offer a bonus to an employee that you already have for recommending a specific friend or acquaintances that they might have for an open position in your company. Of course, as I mentioned, there are other ways where you can post your jobs on social media. You can use different channels. You can go to fairs or networking events and stuff like that. You can use whatever you have at hand or use whatever your budget allows to build the pipeline of candidates. Another thing that is very important is to understand from the start what are the documents that you need for them to apply for the role. The most important document is their CV, but after that, for example, if the hiring manager would like a cover letter or if they like a recommendation letter from their previous employer or stuff like that, just let the candidate know. Maybe you can write it in the job description that you post, you can write it in the initial message that you send to the candidate or to the initial email, so the candidate can know that they need to offer all of these documents, because if they don't do it, the hiring manager might reject them or might have a bad impression of them for not providing all of these documents, even though they didn't know in the first place that they have to provide them. The next stage is the interview, or I would say the first interview, and starting the interviewing process with the candidates. As I mentioned before, the HR recruiter and the person that takes care of the whole recruitment process is the one that will have to hold the first interviews and be the first selection filter for the candidates. And I already made 2 videos about how you can prepare for an interview, and the second one was how you can hold an interview and how you can evaluate the candidate after that, based on the responses that they gave in the interview. The main idea is that you basically have to prepare for it. You cannot go in an interview and do freestyling, asking random questions, or don't know what to ask, because this is not in the benefit of you of finding a good candidate, also not in the benefit of the candidate of being assessed, and of course finding out different information that he also might need to see if they would like to move forward in the recruitment process. Of course, if you like the candidate and you've checked all of the boxes that you need, you can move the candidate through the next recruitment stages based on the recruitment stages that you already organized before. So yeah, you send it to the next interview and to the next interview until you can find a candidate that can pass all of these assessment stages, and of course at the end of it make an offer. The next stage is making an offer to the candidate that passed all of the recruitment stages. This is something that you have to discuss with the hiring manager to see what will be the budget and what can we offer for that specific candidate. And also it's very important to do the negotiations on the phone and not in writing, so not by messagings or emails or stuff like that, because it's easier to communicate all of this information verbally and of course negotiate it verbally than doing it in writing. And at the same time it will take less time to do everything in a 5 to 10 minutes conversation on the phone than through emails, when the person might not check their emails for 1 or 2 days and then you have to send follow-up emails and stuff like that. So yeah, it's better to do everything by phone or in person if you are comfortable doing that. Another thing that is important here is the fact that the offer has to be approved by the management, by the hiring manager or HR manager or someone that has authority in the company before sending it to the candidate. Every time something changes in the offer, for example, you and the hiring manager agreed to a salary and some of the benefits, but the candidate wanted, for example, more benefits or wanted a bigger salary, you need to go back to the hiring manager or HR manager and discuss the new offer and get it approved before sending it to the candidate. So yeah, let's say that the candidate signed the offer, so I would say the recruitment process per se is finished, but now you need to take care of the pre-onboarding and the pre-onboarding of the candidate. Because if they sign the offer, it doesn't mean that they will actually start there, because they have to sign a contract. And this is the first step in the pre-onboarding process, signing the contract and asking for other details or other documents that the candidate has to provide to be legally hired in that specific workplace. This might be the visa, the passport, other things might be criminal record, maybe a recommendation letter from the previous employer, maybe a background check that you have to do. All of these things are depending on the company processes and how the companies are asking for all of these documents. And another thing that is very important in your onboarding process is to prepare the technical team or the team that the candidate will be part of to do the onboarding process of the candidate. You need to let the hiring manager or the team lead know that this person will come in a few months or in a few weeks, and for them to prepare the right activities to onboard the candidate and to integrate them in the team. This is important because you, as an HR recruiter, you are not part of the team, you are just supporting the team. So you don't know what are the activities or what will be the things that they have to learn first. You don't know the processes that are in that specific team. It's very important to make them understand that they should be the one responsible for the onboarding of the candidate in the team and in the tasks that they might have to do on a daily basis. The last thing is also the onboarding part. This happens in the first day of the candidate, so when they actually came to the office and start working there. Usually the HR personnel or the recruiter or the admin HR is taking care of this part when they explain different things about the company, how they can use different internal tools, how they can take their sick leave, how many days of paid leave they have, if they can take other type of leave, what will be their benefits, how they can access the benefits, when they will get paid, and all of these administrative, let's say, details that a person should know if they are working in a specific company. And after that, the HR recruiter should send the new employee to the team to do the, let's say, technical or functional onboarding that they had to prepare, of course, before their first day. Another thing that might be important here is to prepare the equipment. This is something that usually the IT department is doing, but the HR recruiter has to prepare this beforehand. This might be all of the stages that you need to follow to create a recruitment process for a new kind of position that was open in the company. You need to go through all of them so you can create a recruitment process that is logical, that everyone knows about, and that also can help you actually find the right person for that specific job. A bonus point here is to ask for feedback at the end of each recruitment process or even in the middle of the recruitment process. This feedback you can ask from the parts that were involved in it. So this will be the candidate, the hiring manager, and the interviewers. You can create a Google Sheet document with the feedback, and based on what they are telling you, you can use that feedback to create a better recruitment process in the future. This is just a bonus if you have the time to do it and if you want to do it, of course. That will be all from my side. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one. Bye.